go. Welcome into another episode of the WTH podcast. Excuse me. My name is Nate. With me, as always, is Jason. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
It's been a day, hasn't it? But I didn't have to go out in it, so it wasn't too bad for me.
Yeah.
Well,
Although,
we just finished.
Go on.
We just finished moving everything this weekend, so I am in the new digs in my unpacked studio office.
Nice.
Excelente. Let's pump you guys up a couple there. Let's see what we got going on here. Got a new setup here at home. So I'm at home. I didn't go into the office today. So I sort of rigged this thing together. And I apologize if I start to talk slowly because I hear my voice on about a half-second delay. And then I'm so used to listening to my own voice when I talk that I slow down to hear it. And I did a test earlier today, and I was just like, yeah. That's weird. Sorry. Anyway, we got a lot of great stuff. We got a lot of great stuff coming up on the show today. Going to talk shopping in Roseville.
Yes.
Why nobody wants to hold office anymore. And a few other surprises, including some late breaking news from Senate candidate Herschel Walker.
Oh.
All right, let's get rid of that.
Yeah, let's get rid of it.
Well, it's hard to balance.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting too many things going on.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing for me. So
luckily you can juggle and shoot bubble gum and walk and also have a conversation. So you're a man that can do a lot of things at once.
I'm a professionally trained radio DJ. I don't have that sound for me right now, but I am.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, it's on a soundboard, and I did not import it into this computer. So sorry to be Canadian about it.
Sorry.
So, Kareem, you finished your move. How are you doing, man?
I feel like I went 9 rounds with Mike Tyson, and he knocked me out in the night. Saturday was like the last big dump run, so I had one of those vans full of shit. That's all I can describe it as. So I got all of that, tossed all of that Saturday, and then got the rest of the stuff put in storage or moved over here yesterday. And by the time the Niners game got to the fourth quarter, I was done.
Not too bad.
Yeah, so the only thing I have left to get from the other house is the stand for my heavy bag. And so unfortunately, I don't have a truck big enough to carry it in, so I'm gonna have to dismantle it and bring it over.
That's always a bummer.
Yeah.
Always a bummer. Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
That's what she said. Yeah, how big is your stand?
It's probably about 10 foot tall. So it's big enough for a heavy bag and the speed bag.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice wide base. You need like a big moving truck for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna try to see if I could help out with my minivan, but no. Sorry.
Yeah, you can strap it right to the roof.
Yeah.
Watch those overpasses.
Exactly.
It'll be fun.
And the bad thing is I don't have anywhere to put it right now. If I left it together, I don't have anywhere to put it right now because everything that we moved is pretty much stuffed in the garage. So the garage is unusable until I can get the garage cleared out. Then, there's no point in putting it back together or trying to bring it over like that.
Oh man, that sounds like a losing proposition. Like to start with a full garage, like fuck, dude, you're never gonna get ahead of that. Never.
Look, I'm not the person who you have to tell that to. But I got a new cover for the grill today, so tomorrow I'm going to throw that on there and move that outside, so that'll free up some space in the garage. And then we actually have cabinets in the garage that are built into the garage, so we just got to get some of this stuff put inside those cabinets. So,
so it's a big job.
Yeah, having pre-made cabinets is a huge deal.
Yeah, so it's a matter of. So once we there's some junk in the corner that we got to get rid of, and then we can move our refrigerator into that corner, and then that'll free up a whole lot of space. And then I think we got some like storage kind of tables that are going to end up getting thrown out or donated or something.
It's always something. Always something. So, Jason, what have you been up to?
Being a dad.
I hear you. I hear that.
Actually, what I've been doing, like my wife was amazing and gave me some free time on Saturday. My birthday was last Sunday, right? So this Saturday, because I didn't really get to play video games on my birthday, which is kind of what I wanted to do. Took the kids out. Halo Infinite came out last Thursday, which, I mean, I've been playing that game for 20 years. 20 years I've been playing like Halo games, which is nuts. And I'm in my 40s, so that was in my 20s. But it's so cool to play this game because it's similar to the way that I felt when I first played, like, I mean, the first game system that I had, I'd seen my grandfather's Commodore 64 with the tape drive and with the floppy disk, right?
We had those in my high school.
Yeah.
And the TRS-80.
Yeah. So my grandpa had that, and I remember that growing up, like when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. I mean, this is like 81, 82, 83, so long, like, for me, a long time ago. I just, then, like, I had an Intellivision, if you remember that, which is pixelated a little, like, it's about the same as Atari, maybe a step up from an Atari, like a ColecoVision, you know? And then I had a Nintendo towards the end of Nintendo's. Like, when Super Nintendo's came out, I had a Nintendo. And then I got a Genesis instead of a Super Nintendo 3 years later. So I've been into gaming for a long time, except for like that period of time in my 20s, like where you're outside all the time and you're doing shit. You know, like, there's like 4 or 5 years where like just being a young man or young person, video games were not in my wheelhouse. I had not enough money, not enough disposable income, but also like I was performing, running around, like having fun,
trying to get laid,
getting drunk. Yeah.
No time for gaming.
So anyhow, so it's neat to see, because I remember when I played Halo the first time, you know what I mean? Like, or like my first like Doom 60, like my Doom game. Like, I remember how it felt seeing those games, and I haven't really felt like I haven't felt something that I was nostalgic for like that. Does that make sense? Like, Halo feels, I was an adult when Halo came out, and I started playing it then, and I played, of Halo 3, I played 1,400 games, like, competitive matches against people online over, like, 3 years, 4 years. It's a lot of time.
Yeah,
so, yeah. That's also around the time I broke my leg, so I had time to spend playing video games.
Wait a minute!
So anyhow, playing Halo Infinite is like makes me feel that way because it's like that type of jump forward in the game, and it's like things that I thought or like always wanted to do in that franchise and that type of stuff. Like you have like a grappling hook now, and you can grapple up the sides of mountains. You never used to be able to go mountains, like like that wasn't like something that you did in Halo. Like it was like corridors, and like Halo first when it came out, there was like some open spaces, but it was still very like you had to go forward, you know. So that's what I've been doing. It's awesome.
Yeah, I feel you. The two kids. So the boy who just turned 9 months has started crawling. Like he was rolling like his sister, but now he's gone to crawl. And for him, crawl is he gets up on his forearms and then just throws himself forward. Just dives at stuff. So like reckless abandon. So it's a lot keeping up. And he wants to play with his sister. So he keeps trying to get over to her. And so now she's trying to she's amused with it for a little bit, and then she wants to get away from him. So there was all that. Last week Leslie brought the kids up to Reading because we were getting a new electrical panel on the house. So we didn't have power here for a full day. And you don't want kids hanging around the house with no power because everything they do requires power, or you're just going to lose your mind. So they were gone for a couple days last week. And it's crazy because the boy looked like he grew immensely in 3 days. Like a lot. Like he's just this mass of muscle and anger and determination. That's all he is. 9 months old. It's a lot.
You know what I think that I think that there's something to that, like the fact that he looks like he grew so much, because you've constantly been next to him, seeing him since he was a small little baby, and you've never been away from him for very long, and then you were gone for 3 days, and like you had a moment to reflect, like kind of have it. Well, I guess you went to Vegas without him.
Yeah. The longest I was away from him was Vegas because we left on a Sunday. We left Reading on a Sunday and went back the following Saturday to go pick him up. So 6 days. And he looked like he grew some, but he looked like he grew more in 3 days this time. But apparently all they did was eat and run around and crawl around after each other the whole time.
Awesome. Good for them.
Yeah. It was a big week for him. Okay. That's coming, if you weren't aware. Christmas.
I prefer you to say like Happy Holidays because
That's nice.
I'm at war on Christmas.
Okay.
Like I'm set my sights.
All right.
And I still don't celebrate pagan holidays.
Okay. I'm totally like Chad on SNL. Like, okay.
Okay.
Whatever you want, man. I don't care. If you celebrate if you like, don't. I don't care. Want to talk a little bit about Kentucky. Ooh. So I believe the death toll in Kentucky from these tornadoes was about 65. And I think there's still some people missing as we're recording the show. One of the tornadoes touched down and stayed touched down for 200 miles, which is insanity. Absolutely craziness. So thoughts go out to Kentucky and everybody around the country. We need to do what we can to help them rebuild, take care, and recover the best they can. Now, this is where I have to point out how they keep sending assholes to Congress. Kentucky Republican Thomas Massey is now recalling for emergency aid for his district, which is appropriate after the tornadoes. He has, in fact, voted against emergency aid for anyone else his entire time in Congress. Never once has he voted for emergency aid for anybody. Not Hurricane Sandy, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it makes you wonder, so it's okay now that your people need it, but when other people needed it, it was like, oh no, we can't be spending other people's money. Also, Rand Paul, same thing. Rand Paul, anytime these things come up, is on the floor of the Senate talking about how it's sad and people need to recover and they need help to recover.
State of California needs to be held accountable, though. You know, they shouldn't get a free ride.
Well, he likes to talk about other people's money. And I saw on Twitter someone suggested that Congress pass the Rand Paul Other People's Money Relief Fund. to help out with this. Just to give it that name to really acknowledge what a piece of crap he's been about this stuff. But President Biden's already approved money for Kentucky.
And
Congress will approve it.
And did he make any type of snide comments about how they haven't been helpful in getting things passed in Congress and stuff like that?
So
No, I don't recall.
Did he make a tweet about it? Post on Facebook about it? Insta? TikToked it? No? Just want to make sure because, I mean, okay. Did he congratulate himself on a job well done?
Right. No one's responded faster to tornadoes than me.
So, I'm about to be the Grinch in this bitch. So,
Okay.
Kentucky is the 6th most dependent state on the federal government.
Mm-hmm. Sounds right.
So, yeah. And they keep sending Rand Paul and this asshole to Congress.
Mhm.
So, fuck Kentucky.
You're of the mindset that if that's the asshole you're going to send,
That's the asshole
you
you're
get
gonna
back what you send.
You get back what you said. And since you talk so much shit about California and New York and the coast being elitist and
The coastal elites.
the coastal elites, and they want to give everybody everything, how about we'll just keep our shit and you dig yourself out of this shit? So fuck
You
Kentucky.
send them some bootstraps.
Send them some
Say pull your
bootstraps.
stuff up.
Send them some bootstraps. Don't even send them no boots. Just the
Yeah.
straps. That's it.
Just the straps.
There has to be some like crazy gerrymandering going on in Kentucky though, because I mean they do have like a
Yeah,
Democratic
but that doesn't explain
governor,
Rand
right?
Paul because there's 2
They
senators and it's
just got a
statewide.
Democratic government.
But that's what I'm like. I don't know, man. I just think that there's. You look at some of those old states like that, and like they'll have like lines down a street,
Yeah.
they're like another neighborhood, like they're like and like then like in between, like and that's just to link the black people with that. You know, it's man,
Right.
it's some
The
fucked up
House
shit.
and the House of Representatives, you're probably right. But this is not the House of Representatives.
It's
This
Congress.
is Congress.
Yeah,
So again,
I mean the
fuck
Senate.
Kentucky.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Fair enough.
Get Rand out of there.
All right.
Well, Rand was never a Republican though, right? That's the thing. He was always independent, right? Or
No,
a
he's a
libertarian. Is he a Republican? I thought he was.
Yes.
Is he for
You're
one?
thinking of his
Okay.
father,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Ron Paul, who
Ron
was
Paul.
also a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Different type of dick.
but a different type of dick.
All right. So speaking of the U.S. Senate, Herschel Walker,
Oh,
former college football great, former NFL player, is running for Senate. Now, let's set aside his son making videos at the gas pump talking about how expensive it is to buy gas in Joe Biden's America while he's wearing a $1,500 hoodie. Let's go to Pops.
I'm not sure. I can't hear anything. Is anybody? Do you think?
I can't hear it either.
Oh, okay. He's talking about how we're spending other people's money and money we don't have.
Again, you're spending our money, Herschel.
Right? All right, let me play that again. Let me see if we can hear it. Did you hear that? Okay, you guys
No.
can't hear it. All right. Well, we're going to cut that part of the podcast.
Sorry.
It's all right.
But hey, Herschel, go fuck yourself. I'm sure that's what we would have ended up saying, right? I mean, when it comes to the end of it, we all probably would have been just like, "Go fuck yourself," unless I don't know.
I want to know if we can trade him to the Vikings again. Will the Vikings give us a bunch of things that turn out to be really valuable in exchange for Herschel Walker? Let's not forget the Herschel Walker played in the USFL, and the owner of the team, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
So he goes back a long way to Donald Trump. Speaking of Rand Paul, real quick, he tweets, "Our hearts are broken for those suffering from last night's terrible storms. I and my team will do all we can to assist local and state officials as they lead the immediate response and will aggressively help families, businesses, and officials access recovery resources." That's an appropriate thing for a senator to tweet. Representative Eric Swalwell, who represents part of Southern California, retweeted that and said, "We should all do all we can to help our Kentucky neighbors. God be with them. They are hurting. But I do not for 1 second forget that Rand Paul has voted against helping most Americans most times they're in need. Never forget. Never forget."
Oh, and I guarantee you, whoever he runs against next election is going to be using that. You know.
Yeah. It's
because the governor and the governor's going to get the credit too, because the governor's the one that's been talking to the, to the White House and to the FEMA and stuff, right? So I mean, Rand's not. He's just hoping. He's hoping to get a percentage of some people's money,
And the governor of Kentucky, don't forget, is a Democrat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like she's the one that. Yeah.
He.
Did I say they?
You said she.
Oh.
Governor Andy Beshear. All right. So let's go back into one of our old favorites. Kareem, what would you like to talk about?
Oh, January 6th committee. If you're not paying attention, you need to fucking be paying attention. Everything else, put that shit on the back burner. If you didn't think it was a coup attempt, we now know for certain that it was a coup attempt.
We have the PowerPoint.
We have a PowerPoint presentation of the coup attempt.
From the chief of staff at the White House.
Yes. We have the text messages. We have pretty much all the evidence we need that if the Democrats wasn't such pussies, somebody would be in jail for what happened. So now we are set up so that the 2024 election could definitely be stolen. And to quote Hillary Clinton, or somewhat quote her, if this motherfucker gets elected again, you may not be able to get rid of him.
That is true. I've heard people talk about the possibility that this committee is going through everything with great detail, getting a bunch of stuff lined up to really drop it on the American people over the summer so that it's fresh in their minds when the midterms roll around. Because that's the first thing, is the midterms in 22. The entirety of the U.S. House is up in 2022. So that's really the point that is critical at this point, to make sure that it stays in the Democrats' hands. And if possible, to really up that even higher so that it's a much bigger control. And if they can do something in the Senate, so you don't have to worry about Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, then all the better. Because then you can actually, then you can act. Let's not get into that nonsense. But
they do.
I know, and it's irritating and stupid. So
somebody tweeted that what's his name, the Supreme Court Roberts.
Yes.
All he wanted to do was stop black people from voting, and this is where we ended up at. Now he doesn't know what the fuck he's going to do.
He's certainly in a pickle.
Yeah. So they put these people on the court. So they've already stolen the election from Al Gore. So we already know that they're not above that. That's not a level that they won't stoop to.
Right.
Now, and what many people don't know is that the crybaby Supreme Court justice was on the legal team that helped get that case in front of the Supreme Court.
Kavanaugh.
So this is a long-term plan. Get your heads out your asses and pay attention. These motherfuckers are planning to overthrow the government. And
they just want to be in control.
Right. And for a minute, it's going to be bad for black people. But if they get their authoritarian regime in place, it's going to be bad for all of us.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And mostly for the people who rolled out on January 6th. Those types of people, the people who don't have the disposable income, the people that are throwing all of their thoughts and hopes behind this, it's going to be bad for them.
Yeah, they have no clue what they're doing.
No, the people that are backing are not in their corner, despite what they think, despite what they believe, what they've convinced themselves of. It's just not the case.
I mean, they convinced a bunch of people that their freedoms were getting taken away before they come back and actually take
away the freedoms. Right.
I mean, that's classic. Oh, it's so hilarious, though. Come on, man. Come on. What a time to be alive.
Right? Yeah. So pay attention, people. Jason, what do you want to talk about?
What do you guys want to talk about?
So don't Stephen Ferris me.
What do you guys want to talk about?
We just like to sit here for 5 minutes uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which is literally every set I've seen that guy do.
No,
nothing against him.
Yeah.
I mean, when it works, great bit.
Yeah.
When it doesn't, which is virtually every time I've seen it, it's painful.
So one of the things he's been doing since the quarantine is he's set up like a little brick comedy club in his house, like in a corner of it, with a sign, and then he plays a soundtrack behind it, people clapping and stuff like that. But he does all of his bits. I mean, it's pretty great. And he has them actually do the awkward silences too.
So it's accurate.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great, but it's awesome. I mean, I liked it too when I used to watch it.
Sure.
But I don't know, man. It sounds ridiculous, but this Halo thing, there's two things that have really been tripping me out, when I'm thinking about age, though, all right? And one of them is Halo, because, I was a fully formed adult when that came out, on my own, not at home. I have not lived at home since since I played that game.
Wait. How long have you been married, engaged?
I've been married 7 years, and we've been together 8 years.
So you've only been a fully formed adult for 8 years.
Okay, all right, I get you, yeah. But so there's that part right there, right? So there's that that passage of time, and it used to be a big marker in my life was the time that I lived in New York City for 3 months, and that was the biggest thing that ever happened to me. That was the thing that I felt was really important in my life. And now it's not something I would necessarily. I might talk about it a little bit, but it's just one of those just fun facts. It's not a big and it's important in my acting life, I guess, and stuff like that. But anyhow, so there's that. So there's that passage of time, because 20 years is a long time. I mean, in the way I think about it. Then the other thing was I saw realizing that somebody born in 1971, 1972, coming up, is 50. They're turning 50 this year, 50 next year. Yeah. And I'm born in 77. That's not too. That's 5 years from where I am. And I know I'm 45, and I know that I see it that way. But seeing it from that side of it, thinking about it, like that makes it for some reason seem so much more real. It's so much
Wait
more.
till you see it from the other side.
I can't wait.
Is he trying to call us old?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're old. I'm just saying that I'm not
He's got
looking
more
forward.
gray in his beard than both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old.
Let me point out for a moment. I'm the oldest one here, and I look younger than both of you.
Well, I can shave if you like me to.
It's what clean living will do. That's right. No time in the military. No time overdoing the drugs. Beautiful skin.
Oh. I'm gonna have to shave, and next week I'll come on, and we'll have a who has a more baby face edition.
I'll still win.
Let's do it, bro. Let's do it.
Do you know how I know?
Shh.
My show. That's why I'm in the upper left.
Thought this was our
That's
show.
That's why Paul Lynde was always in the center square in Hollywood Squares. Speaking of a joke that will date you in terms of time, I want to talk briefly about Roseville. Went to Roseville this weekend. Yep, went to the mall.
Yes.
Saturday at the mall. Saturday at the mall. Crazy women walking around. Yeah, not a lot of masks. Just going to say that.
Nope.
More than I was expecting. Leslie said it was like being in Reading. Roseville, Reading. Same idea.
Yeah.
Higher median income. Same idea. Don't believe that COVID's an issue. Let me just point this out, though. Also, not just at the mall, but at the Whole Foods. And I know people like to talk about the coastal elites and the Whole Foods and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, no masks there. Aside from the people working.
It's that crazy intersection, bro. It's that crazy intersection.
It really is. Now, I don't know if you guys heard, but starting Wednesday, they are putting back in the mask mandate indoors in California, regardless of vaccination. So,
Really?
Yep. Wednesday. You'll get a memo on that tomorrow. Now, the Macy's at the Roseville Galleria had the signs on the door that said masks required, but there was no one turning people away. It made me wonder, if I were to go out to my car and take off my shoes and my shirt and walk back into Macy's barefoot and shirtless, would anybody say to me, "Sir, you need to go put on a shirt and shoes"? And then I would fight them.
You guys want to do it? Let's do it. Let's all get together. Let's just get shorts on, no shirts, put a mask on, barefoot, and just walk around the mall and see what happens.
I say banana hammocks and barefoot, just rolling in a thong.
Let's do it, dude.
Just rolling in a thong and go.
Well,
We're here to shop.
We should wear the mask because then we can make a point.
Right.
Because then there's a 100. There's like a point about it, you know. Like you got to have the exclamation point.
Yeah. No, I'll put a call in. I'll put a call into the news stations.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
We're doing our own protest.
And then you can listen to us on the WTH podcast. We can have it written across our backs.
What's really funny is they would likely call the cops and have us arrested.
No, they would just kick us off. I mean, and then the cops would just drag, you know. But the great thing is all the video that would be captured of all the people without masks that are supposed to have them on.
Which is everybody. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. So, all right. So because you guys can't hear me, we're going to skip the weird Board of Supervised meeting where this woman started singing about her body.
Oh, my God. All I need for Christmas is not to ever hear that fucking shit again. My wife heard it, and she was like, what are you listening to?
I like how she puts on a Santa hat at the beginning.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah. Oh, my God. And then people are just
and
like,
you guys still can't hear that?
No.
Oh. Yeah, hold on a second, though.
This woman could not carry a tune in a bucket. But the idea that you would have to sit through that just to do your job, I understand why people don't want to hold elective office. Okay, so meanwhile, over on Twitter this week, someone who calls herself Classically Abby. Now, Classically Abby is related to, who is she related to? Gosh, I forget. Anyway,
Shapiro.
She's Ben Shapiro. She's Ben
Come
Shapiro's sister. I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
She tweeted,
I mean, and I
go ahead.
let's see, and I thought the best part of him was the part that ran down his mother's leg, but obviously that is not just the only case of it.
Yeah. So her husband is Roth the Patriot. So I just started talking slow again because I was listening to myself. Sorry. So she tweeted two photos side by side. This is Madonna at 63, and Madonna is wearing a fishnet body stocking, and she has a heart icon over a nipple, so you don't see the nipple. And she's wearing some Louboutin shoes with the red soles, laying in the middle of the bed.
Nothing that Madonna has not done every year for the last 50 years. Almost. 40 years. Yeah. But you know, come on. Yeah.
At least 40.
Yeah, at least 40.
Next to it, a photo of Nancy Reagan. Now, Nancy's wearing a straw hat in the middle of all of her kids and some grandkids, and Ronnie with his bolo tie. And she said, this is Madonna at 63. This is Nancy Reagan at 64. Trashy living versus classic living. Which version of yourself do you want to be? Now, I'm a believer that women can live whatever version of themselves they like to be. They can actually be both. They can be Madonna in bed and Nancy Reagan out in the middle of a field.
Or vice versa.
Sure. It'd be weird, but sure, you can do that.
Sure, right? I mean,
you know. So what she didn't realize is Nancy Reagan, then known as Nancy Davis, had a bit of a reputation in Hollywood. According to Kitty Kelly's biography, Nancy was renowned in Hollywood for performing oral sex. Just Say Yes Nancy, in the days when she was Nancy Davis, was known to give the best blowjob in town, not only in the evening, but in offices. And that was one of the reasons she was very popular on the MGM lot. And it must have made her very popular with Ronnie as well. Now, all the people pointing this out, saying, for the record, there's nothing wrong with Nancy being promiscuous in her youth, just like there's nothing wrong with Madonna being provocative in her 60s.
Right.
If you really wanted ways in which the two women are different, look at how they responded to AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. And then there's a meme about showing them and about the difference between Republicans and Republicans. Like Nancy didn't care about, was against stem cells until Ronnie got sick. And then she was for stem cells.
Well, she was more for crystals.
Yeah.
Crystals and horoscopes.
Yeah. She was against gay rights until her daughter was gay, or son was gay. Yeah.
Son.
Yeah. So, you know.
Until it affects them, it's a thing.
Yeah.
So.
You can look at it that way, or you can look at it as a way of like, oh, they are transforming themselves and changing to be better people.
You could. Or you could look at them as being hypocrites. Or you could look at it both ways.
Listen,
go look. They're hypocrites who are now experiencing growth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whichever you like. I enjoy that someone replied with, Nina Hartley is 62. If she pulled up in a car, cracked a window, and said, get in, no one of any orientation is saying no.
Yes. Because some asshole said, oh, there's nobody at 60 that's hot. Like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 40 years ago.
Yeah, when everybody over 60 had a straw hat and stood out in the field.
No, when they were 24. Sorry.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Somebody also tweeted a photo of Ronald Reagan's renegade daughter, Patty Davis, on the cover of Playboy magazine from July of '94. Just to point out that, hey, by the way. So someone also said Ronald Reagan was racist and is burning in hell. So I don't know about any of that.
Wow.
Well, you know, he did give us crack.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
And a tip of the hat.
You're welcome.
And you're supposed to say,
I don't get any of that.
He did put crack in the community.
So,
oh, man, look at how it worked out. That's been great for everyone. Everyone involved.
Like, just like closing all the mental hospitals in California. Worked.
That was... It's amazing. It's not like you're paying the price for it like 40 years later.
Nope, not at all. So the Supreme Court made their ruling in the Texas abortion. It's not a ban. It's this weird bounty hunter type deal where if you see someone trying to get an abortion, you can sue them for $10,000. I don't quite understand all of it because it's super convoluted and was written to get around Roe versus Wade, which to this point it has. Thanks to Donald Trump getting 3 Supreme Court justices. The one that should have been Merrick Garland when Obama nominated him in February and McConnell stonewalled it. The second one, whatever on that one. And then the third one, when Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who probably should have retired when Obama was president, so he could have filled the position, but didn't want to because she wanted to have her position filled by the first female president, who was going to be Hillary Clinton.
And fuck Ruth Bader Ginsburg, too.
Fair enough. So that's how we ended up with 3 of the 9 Supreme Court justices being appointed by a one-term president. So they upheld that. So the office of the governor of California tweeted this: if states can shield their laws from review by federal courts, then California will use that authority to help protect lives. We will work to create the ability for private citizens to sue anyone who manufactures, distributes, or sells an assault weapon or ghost gun kit or parts in California. Crazy?
I will be one of those people.
You'll be suing?
I will be suing.
Jason, will you be suing?
Hell yeah. I got at least 10 people I could sue.
There you go. I think it's brilliant.
I've been keeping a list. The government hasn't been, but I
checking it twice.
Yes. I will be
naughty.
I will be suing.
I don't know when this is going to go into effect. Obviously, it would have to go through the assembly and everything would have to pass. But if the political will is there, then there's no reason why it couldn't. And of course, there are people in, I believe it's San Diego gun rights group, pretty upset about it. Shockingly enough.
It's going to get all these people really understanding what the fuck they're doing right now. Like, it's going to get that segment of those people, I think, to understand, because they're going to start getting worried.
Well, this whole thing, I don't believe for a moment the point of this is to enact this ban in California. I don't believe that for a moment. This is all to shine a light on what bullshit the Texas law is. So this would get challenged, get pushed up, and would then set a precedent that would affect the Texas law.
Well, so the justices haven't made their decision on the Texas law yet. Yeah. So they had a hearing on it, and the decision should come sometime this spring, summer. This is a nudge to them. Okay, if you decide that you're going to do this, this is what's coming. and somebody and people had been talking about this being a possibility when the Texas law passed, was that, okay, if you do it, somebody can do this, and Gavin has been the man to step up and say,
somebody's gonna do it.
Somebody's going to do it. Gavin's been the man to step up. So
I mean, think about the way that they could shield themselves. I mean, really, if it does set a precedent, right? I mean, is there the way that they could shield tax dollars, you know, and monies and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Like from federal law. Oh yeah. By the way, our citizens don't have to pay that. Like, we're not sending this much money to you guys. Sorry, this much money instead, because this is how much we use per capita.
yeah.
All right, moving on. The state of New York is full of squares. Because more than 400 towns and villages across New York have opted to block local marijuana dispensaries and consumption lounges as a statewide deadline to do so nears, with many officials deciding to stay out of the upcoming market until regulators provide more clarity. Now, the law that legalized recreational marijuana in New York this year gives municipalities until December 31st to opt out of hosting dispensaries or on-site consumption lounges once the retail sales start in a year or so. Localities cannot ban legalized possession, though. So with 3 weeks left to act, more than a quarter of New York's towns and 31% of its villages had voted to become the cannabis equivalent to dry towns when it comes to dispensaries, at least initially. Numbers were slightly higher for consumption sites, which is understandable. Relatively few cities have officially opted out, and none of the state's largest ones, according to an online tracker maintained by the Rockefeller Institute of Government. A bunch of squares.
Well, the big cities will have to let it happen because it's like amazing, great tax revenue. I mean, like for them and the state, so they're gonna let it go. Like these smaller, you know what? Those smaller places, that 31, they will then see the money that they can make with it, and like how they lost out on money because other cities in California are seeing it, other counties are seeing it, like, and they're gonna be late in the game. Meanwhile, county next door got all the money.
And again, as I said with everything else, if you don't want it, cool.
Yeah.
You should not get a dime. A penny.
No soup for you.
Yeah.
Not even a whiff of that tax money.
Yeah, fair enough.
None of it.
So, Kareem, you're familiar with Waffle House, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, two of America's most beloved brands, Waffle House and methamphetamine, are at the center of a new criminal prosecution in Tennessee.
I am not surprised, bro.
Now, investigators allege that Anthony James Silcox, who's a 31-year-old cook, sold meth from a Waffle House in Caryville, which is about 30 miles from Knoxville. Cops, search warrant in hand, raided the Waffle House on a Friday afternoon and arrested Silcox while he was still standing at the grill. A search of him yielded 3.3 grams of a crystal-like substance believed to be meth, as well as drug paraphernalia. During a police interview, he reportedly admitted to selling meth from the Waffle House, but said that he does not sell methamphetamine every day, but has sold methamphetamine several times in the past. He reported that he was just trying to make a living and currently living in his Ford F-150 and at random motels. He's been charged with sale and delivery of meth, a felony, and possession of drug paraphernalia. He's locked up in Campbell County Jail in advance of a court hearing.
You know how they knew that he was dealing? He was the only employee still working.
I think one look at his neck is the best way to tell, because he was getting high on his own supply.
Poor guy, though. I mean, God, man. It sucks.
What?
No, I mean, like, addiction sucks, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I have to have some compassion for a dude that's some fucked up shit. Like, living in his car, like, and, like, the system's not designed to help him in any way. He's fucked. And it's a fucking disease.
Holding down a job.
Like, he is, at least he's fucking trying to work, you know what I mean? Like, but he has a fucking addiction. Whether or not he wants to get help or not, I mean, that's, but there's nobody, definitely not in that state. Anybody that's trying to help, you know what I mean? Like, there's nobody trying to help there.
Oh, I know what you mean.
I'm sorry.
Don't get high on your own supply.
Right.
Dope man.
That's true.
That's absolutely true. All right, we got to get to...
And look, having been to Waffle House at many hours of the day and night, I am not surprised.
Yeah, man.
Matter of fact, you might need some meth to be in there at 3:00 in the morning.
Well, especially if we want to leave.
Yes.
Pass out.
Otherwise,
at the table.
you're nodding out at the table.
Oh,
right.
Man.
All right, let's get to it quick.
Florida. All
All right,
Yeah.
so Florida corner. Very quickly, while being intimate with a friend inside a restaurant bathroom, a Florida woman broke the sink off the wall, leading to her arrest for criminal mischief. Investigators say Catherine Trammell, 37, caused $500 in damages Tuesday during an afternoon encounter inside a bathroom at Irish 31, an eatery in Seminole. According to the arrest affidavit, Trammell and a friend were asked to leave the restaurant after staff discovered them in the bathroom. The defendant and her friend then left the bathroom and sat at the bar. Trammell, cops allege, subsequently returned to the bathroom. It was during the second trip that the sink was damaged. After being read her rights, she reportedly said that her friend and herself were being intimate in the bathroom and as a result caused the sink to break. Trammell would not offer a further explanation.
Wasn't she in Basic Instinct? This is Catherine Trammell.
She does have a smile in her mugshot, so I'm not gonna say that. While not identified, her friend appears to be male. So he also does not seem to have been charged in connection with the sink destruction.
What?
Well,
my guess is she was the one sitting on the sink.
It doesn't matter. He's part of the situation. Like, if he had been stronger, like, it wouldn't have broke. The pussy.
I love seeing who Jason cuts a break to. And who he's like, no, screw that guy. Meanwhile,
I'm just saying fair is fair, man. Come on.
Sure. Meanwhile, a 76-year-old Florida woman was arrested for allegedly targeting her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend in an auto vandalism spree that employed oil, pink lipstick, and a dead raccoon. According to police, Patsy Merle vandalized the cars in late September, 3 months after a relationship with Stephen Hughes, who's 74, ended. Hughes' new girlfriend is Michelle Busman Bayo, who's 64. Investigators charged that Merle damaged the vehicles while they were parked tonight outside Hughes' home in Largo, in the Tampa area. His 2011 Chrysler, of course, the 2011 Chrysler, had oil poured into its air vents, and the words "loves kinky sex," kinky spelled Kinkey, and womanizer spelled WOMINZER, written on the windows in pink lipstick. It also sustained damage to the rear bumper when she rammed the car with her vehicle. Estimated cost to repair about $1,600. Both of the parts.
It's so they come out. Oh, that shit done do it, and it's only $1,600.
I believe that would total a 2011.
No, it's it, man.
The insurance company would just total that Chrysler.
They're like, yeah. Well, why'd you even have this coverage on there, dude? You shouldn't even have this coverage on there.
Right?
You paid in the last. Sorry.
It's okay. Multiple parts of the other woman's BMW, 2020 BMW, were damaged by Merle, according to the arrest affidavit. Oil was poured on the car, a dead raccoon left on the hood, and the word "slut" was written on the vehicle in pink lipstick. That she spelled right. The BMW was judged a total loss, adding the insurance settlement amounted to $33,000.
Oh, wow.
Right? A police probe determined that Merle's phone GPS placed her in the vicinity of the residence on the night of the vandalism, and the days after, Merle brought her car to a body shop for repairs to the front and rear bumpers. They had paint transfer that was the same color as both victims' vehicles. She was booked on a pair of felony criminal mischief counts. She was released from the county jail on her own recognizance. I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
Me either.
Just saying. Oh, boy. Meanwhile, this made me say, what the fuck? Headline, dozens of camels, I say, barred from Saudi beauty contest over Botox. That's right, Botox.
What?
Dateline Dubai. Saudi authorities have conducted their biggest ever crackdown on camel beauty contestants, that received Botox injections and other artificial touch-ups. The state-run Saudi press agency reported Wednesday with over 40 camels disqualified from the annual pageant. It's a month-long festival in the desert.
Wow.
And they've had to clamp down on artificially enhanced camels using specialized and advanced technology to detect the tampering.
Man.
That is too much money. You got too much money if you are having camel beauty pageants. It's like making a rocket out of a dick to go to space. It is too
Making a rocket out of a dick to go to space.
Can't top that one.
Depends on the, if you have a lot of egg protein, like, might be able to.
Nope. Can't top that one. Cannot top that. Kareem with the comment that keeps on giving. All right, let's wrap this thing up. We got some small town news for you. Also from New York State, Plattsburgh City Police issue a temporary phone number. That's right, a downed tree knocked out the Plattsburgh City Police Department's phone lines. The department has issued a temporary phone number for non-emergency calls. That's 518-726-0794. You could still call 911 with emergencies, but police ask that you use the temporary number for all other calls until further notice. They say if you get a busy signal, keep calling back.
Yay.
And that's small town news.
I should just call. I just making sure the number works, guys. Thanks.
Hey, I heard a tree took you out. That's what you get in a small town.
Meanwhile, some poor guy. Some poor guy just doesn't have like his cell phone for like the next week. It's like, oh man, how did my cell phone get taken for this?
It's a Google Voice number.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Could be. You just get a computerized voicemail. Leave it off there. They'll play it back later and make fun of you. Remember, it's non-emergency calls. Listen to this asshole. Thanks for coming out. Salute, Plattsburgh, New York.
Oh, man.
Never cease to amaze me. All right, that's going to do it for us for this episode of the WTH podcast. Any final words, Kareem?
Have a good week. Take a little time for yourself, and don't make a rocket built out of a dick.
Jason.
Enjoy this rain if you're in Northern California.
If you find a big bag of marijuana and you tell people that you threw it away, just leave it at that. Go, hey, I threw it away. Don't say you threw the bulk of it away or most of it away or pretty much all of it away. Just go, hey, I threw it away. Go on with your day. Don't open the door to that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to give a wink, that's one thing.
Sure.
Nobody can. No, you
Well,
don't write down a wink. You know what I mean? Never write a wink.
All right, everybody, be good. We'll see you next time on the WTH podcast. Bye bye.
Oh man.